Apparently, Baylor women's basketball is going to add another key non-conference matchup for the 2025-2026 season. Who is it? Yes, apologize for looking out because I cannot memorize all this stuff. It's actually former Big 12 and Southwest Conference rival Texas, and they played each other at least twice a year from 1975 up to the last year in the Big 12, obviously. 112th meeting overall is going to happen. And it's part of the Sprouts Farmers Market espnW Invitational. It'll be in Fort Worth, Texas at Dickies Arena, December 14th at noon Central Time on ABC. The Vice President, ESPN Women's Sports Programming and espnW, Susie Piotrowski, Piotrkowski, said the following. Since 2010, espnW has been working towards an event like this. In collaboration with Sprouts Farmers Market, the espnW Invitational is a presentation of the game's top athletes competing at the highest level, delivering women's sports fans more of what they crave. The Sprouts Farmers Market espnW Invitational reflects ESPN Events Invitational investment in our women's sports portfolio, and we could not be more excited to continue serving women's sports fans and the culture that defines them. So, in terms of the non-conference slate, this adds another team that went to the Elite Eight further. And I'll go in more in detail on what they bring back and everything. But as we all know, Baylor women's basketball has listed some games already. Some, like the first one's obviously in Paris, France, against Duke. It's 11 a.m. Central Time on November 3rd on ESPN. Yeah, that's actually listed on that. There's obviously like Iowa and Orlando, Florida, part of WCA Showcase, November 20th at 8 p.m. Central Time. Or later, and same thing goes for Davidson 2 days later, November 22nd, but it's at 4:30 p.m. Central Time, in Orlando, Florida, and now you add in on Texas. So they're not backing down from the competition here. It adds another quality opponent to the schedule, obviously. And Texas was 35-4 last year. They actually beat South Carolina in the regular season, but then they did lose the other matchups, including the Final Four one. And they were 35-4 last year. Final Four team. They have one double-digit score coming back. And we're actually familiar with her because the last year that Texas was in the SEC, they had Madison Booker. In the Big 12, they had Madison Booker. So, that's some familiarity. And they do bring back 4 or 5 players that were who were averaging 5 points per game or more. But that's if you want to include Aaliyah Moore, who is going to sit out for the whole entire year because of knee surgery back in May. And it's not including like one other player that comes back that averaged 4.4 points per game. They did bring in some transfers and like 2 freshmen as well, but the 4 transfers, one of them is from the Big 12, and then it's Brea Cunningham from Arizona. Somewhat familiar with her. And a double-digit score from Boston College, and Talia Sedbury, and she's going to be a senior this year. Brea Cunningham's a junior. They do bring in a transfer from the SEC and Missouri, from Missouri. She was a double-digit scorer, and that's Ashton Judd. And a 3.4 points per game transfer from FAU, as in Florida Atlantic University, and Lovisa Asbrink Hose. So, yeah. Some of these players Baylor's familiar with somewhat already because they were in the Big 12. Some of them were. Not all of them, but some. And even Johnny Harris, she was a head coach at Auburn. She coached against some of these players. So it's not like she's not familiar with them at all in all this. And you got to remember, too, that Talia Scott played in the SEC, so she probably helped prep at least and is familiar with Texas on some of the players. And same thing goes for Yu Ting Dong for that one semester she played against them. But I'm going to just double check that right now. But at least the good news is too that this game is in December, so they're gonna know where they're at. already after that Duke game. And there's actually a few more games that I know that's not listed at all, but in part of the non-conference slate for women's basketball. They're actually going to play UNLV on the road on November 14th. At 8:30 p.m. Central Time. And they're going to play Southeastern Louisiana. And they're playing them at home. Baylor's going to host them on December 3rd. We don't know the time yet of that game. So they're going to be battle tested for sure. I mean, they're going to have essentially 4 neutral site games and then a road game to a UNLV team that won their conference in the regular season last year. Yes, they didn't make the NCAA tournament because they didn't win their conference tournament, but that's still a dangerous team. And that was a team that pushed Baylor last year. And I get UNLV's losing some players, but they added through the transfer portal. So I'm just saying you can't sleep on them by any means. And obviously we already know the conference slate. We just don't know the days yet for those games, times, TV stations, anything like that. But obviously Baylor's going to play TCU twice, and that was an Elite Eight team last year. They're going to play Texas Tech twice, and then they're going to play UCF twice. Everybody else, I mean, that it's either home or away against in terms of the Big 12, because you can't play everybody home and home now. So we're going to know the rest of the non-conference slate, besides what I just mentioned about UNLV and Southeastern Louisiana. I just solely know that because I did look at the whole schedule for them, and that's what I noticed. So anyways, if you like this content, hit the like, subscribe button. See you guys later on the road to 800 subscribers, course, ultimate goals, 1,000 more, some money. This course, like video, comment video really helps YouTube algorithm. Some more people see it, sharing the video does help as well. Some more people could watch. And if you're watching and not subscribe, hit subscribe button, hit the notification bell as well. And there's still like a few players that are kind of familiar with the Texas players that went in the past in terms of like prepping for the games and everything like that. So it's not like they're like, oh no, we have not played them before. They actually have, and obviously Johnny Harris was under Vic Schaefer both at Mississippi State and that 1 year at Texas. And then they're both familiar with each other, given their history, and when they were both at A&M. So yeah. But you got to keep in mind too that Yi-Ting Dong actually played against Texas, but it was like she only played 6 minutes in that game. But that was like her first ever game in college. So I'll break it down the whole entire non-conference slate later once it gets released and all this. And same thing goes for the entire schedule and down the line, of course, right before the season starts. I'll break down the entire roster, ceiling and floor like that. And if this is a top 25 showdown, I'm going to preview this Texas game, of course. I would. Or even like ranked versus receiving votes. I'm sure Texas is going to be ranked. I'm sure. It's more like, where is Baylor in the mix? So this is definitely a prime opportunity to see where Baylor's at already in a non-conference before even playing against TCU twice. So that does help prepare the conference slate-wise. It does prepare. And the same thing goes for like playing Duke as well. So yeah, that's going to be helpful, especially those road/neutral site games. That's going to help in terms of the road slate in the Big 12.